Now let's talk about Prince Harry, shall we? Because he's made another solo trip, this time to Johannesburg in South Africa.
He's called for world leaders to create a platform for young voices, as the Duke is there to represent his charity centre Barley. It's an HIV charity that he co-founded. Well,
meanwhile, Prince William has revealed that he was not present at the Olympics in Paris, as he feared he might bring COVID home to Catherine.
While she was having
chemotherapy.
Yeah. Let's talk to Editor-in-Chief of Majesty magazine, Ingrid Stewart. Good to see you, Ingrid. Could we talk about Harry first and foremost, and Lesotho and Centre Barley? I mean, all these things which he's been associated with for a long time, but have been off the radar for a long time. How important is it that he's now getting back involved?
Well, I think Harry's come to the realisation that he must go back to what he does best, which is actually working with kids. He's always been brilliant with children, and he founded Centaurly, which means forget me not, which is with the Prince of Lesotho, and it was in 2006. So he's been doing this for a long time, and it's really was one of his pet projects. But he hasn't been back for 6 years. But now he's gone back, and he's been welcomed hugely, and he's had meetings with the King and the Queen and travelled with his friend the Prince. And what they're trying to do is get these people of Lesotho into work, the women of Lesotho into work, and also their children who were born with HIV, some of them. This was the main thrust of it in the beginning. And they built schools, they built all kinds of things to sort of help this education of this nation.
I think we should read into the fact that we are seeing more and more of Prince Harry out on these solo trips. We know that this is something he's really passionate about. It's clear from even reading his book Spare that this is something that he deeply, deeply cares about. But we saw him at the Well Child Awards in London, didn't we, just last week? And now he's in South Africa by himself, and there's no sign of Meghan.
There's no sign of Meghan because I think Harry knows that he does these things best on his own. I mean, there's no point in him taking Meghan to Lesotho. And there's the Well Child, although I think she came last time he was here, last year. But I think, I can't remember actually if she was there or not, but he's better on his own. And either Harry or maybe his advisors have said to him, so you need to raise your own profile and do it by doing what you do best, which is working with children and the disadvantaged. He's always been brilliant at that.
It's not about raising profile in the sense. I mean, we do know when he's been in Lesotho in the past, he's prepared to get his hands dirty. He likes to get stuck in. I mean, it's part of the charm of him in all of this. Is there a sense, and I might be speaking out of turn, but is there a sense that Meghan will only do stuff where it is a PR opportunity rather than actual work?
Well, I think we like to think that. I don't know, but it does seem that I think Harry actually knows that he's better doing this on his own. I mean, he sat down for a very well publicised fireside chat with the chairman of the charity and the King and the Queen. But what I still can't understand is what he was trying to say. He sort of said, we must do something, but I wasn't quite sure what he was intending to do. So Harry's message is still not very clear. It's still cloaked in sort of California speak. So I feel that he needs to get out more, because when he does speak, when he's actually giving a talk, he's very eloquent. But from this Lesotho trip, I couldn't quite get what he was trying to do. Maybe he was just trying to raise the profile of the charity. But it's very much better for him to do it without his wife, because otherwise attention's deflected onto her and what she's wearing.
That's a good point. Ingrid, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much.
Well, we're joined now by Charles Ray, former editor of The Sun. Charles, thank you very much for joining us. You know, when I see these things with Prince Harry, I think to myself, this is what you would have been doing as a working royal. I don't get it, really. And he actually seems a lot happier. A lot of people suggesting that it's because Meghan's not there. Well, what's your take on it?
I agree with that. The fact that Meghan's not there, I think, is a big plus for Harry. And it's really nice to see Harry again back to being the smiley guy that he always was, doing what he does best of all, helping his various charities, promoting those charities, helping to raise money for those charities. And it's just really great to see, instead of the whinging Harry that we have seen over the last few years, mainly with his wife. So it's fantastic. He's now gone to South Africa. Now, I actually don't think he's been in Montecito now for about 2 weeks, because he went to New York, first of all, to do a few things with the Bill Clinton charity. He then did a tattoo parlor, Jimmy Fallon show, then flew to the UK straight away to do the Well Child Award. Big hit there, very big hit there. And then went to Lesotho to visit his charity, Sentabali, the one he started in memory of Diana. And I don't think he's been there for 2 or 3 years, maybe a bit longer. And then I think from there is where he's gone to Johannesburg to continue this charity to help raise funds and speak about a passion of his, which I have to say I agree with, the dangers of the internet for children.
Yeah, Charles, who's got the kids then? Are you suggesting maybe Harry's not seen the kids in 2 weeks? Because as a father, that's a bit of a stretch for, I don't know, normal people, normal parents. Who's got the kids?
Well, I'm not sure whether he's actually jetted back to Montecito. If he has, he's only been there for about two days. I mean, look, Ben, we live in an age where you've got FaceTime and everything else, so it's much easier to see your kids as well. I mean, you know, when I was a working journalist and away for a long time, I didn't see my kids for, you know, a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. But all I had with then was the phone. We didn't have this sort of great new technology, FaceTime and all that sort of stuff. But I can't see where he went back to Montecito. He may well have, but I can't see where he did. Now, Meghan's got the children. She's back in Montecito. She's obviously looking after them as most mothers do in any case. And I think she's carrying on with her work for this stupidly titled American Riviera Orchard, which is all about jams and gardening, and a new Netflix program next year. And all I just hope and keep my fingers crossed is Harry stays away from it.
And so finally, how is all that going for her? Because I heard the last thing was that the trademark was denied because, because you can't trademark a place.
No, you can't. So those things are. This is Meghan doing all this, and she's fallen foul of all this. I mean, she's spending her time. If you know that we've had these various warring magazines coming up with the allegations of her bullying again, in this other magazine interviewing former the people who've worked for her at Archwell, saying glowing things about how she sits on the floor and prepares little baskets of goodies for them to take away. So I think she's been involved in all that sort of stuff. But in terms of actually doing, any what you would call old-fashioned royal job, she hasn't been doing any of that, which is great, to be perfect. I don't think we need to see Meghan anymore.
No, I kind of agree with you there, Charles Ray. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. That is
and you take care.
Charles Ray.